Hi,
And
how are you?
today we're going to be talking a little bit about some self-care and how to avoid emotional fatigue. I have with me Katrina and Zina. Zina, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Zina Latrice, your light, bright life coach. I am the founder and CEO of Life Essentials with Zina Latrice, offering online courses and one-to-one as well as group coaching. I'm also a published author of Life Essentials with Zina Latrice. And so if you can see that, that is my autobiographical project, and I'm working on additional projects coming up. But my primary superpower is I shine the light on all dark situations. So if you're experiencing some darkness, having negative mindsets, I can point you to the light and we can get to some positive outcomes.
Hello, my name is Katrina, and I'm kind of doing the same thing with like Zena, shining the light. I've seen so many people walking in darkness and in bondage. So I'm a chain breaker and I'm a light, bringing that light into the dark world and trying to help people be free and live a life that God called them to live, because we live so bound from our past and different experiences that we've encountered. So trying to help people heal from those old wounds and be able to walk in their purpose freely and boldly. And I'm a published author too, but it's me and some other ladies. We wrote a book called Celebrate Small Victories, and we all wrote a chapter. So, because we have to celebrate ourselves. When you celebrate yourselves, you'll be able to keep going and keep striving for what you want to strive for. So,
And I am Rose. I am an inspirational speaker and a transformational coach. I like to speak on the power of self-image and the power of self-mind, of the mind. And I like to help others discover their own power and own who they truly are so that they can be their best self in this beautiful world that we are given. So, what are your favorite forms of self-care?
a prayer room, like a little corner that I go into in my office closet, where I've made into this like a little sanctuary for me. Have my candles, and so I go in there, I meditate, and I pray, I read, and I say my affirmations. And I do this in order to start my day. And I've noticed when I don't do it, I don't have a really good day. So I make sure that that's something that is a part of my day. I have to go in there and have my quiet time to get recharged. So I call it my hour of power and connecting to the source, because I need that power to get out here and face the day and seize the day. So I do that every day. And then after that, I go outside right now while it's still nice, and I walk for 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Just go outside and watch the sunrise and hear the birds chirping and feel the wind against my face. So those two things I have to do every day, and maybe like 3 to 5 times out of the week, at the end of the day, have to take my bubble bath. I have to sit in there and soak and let all the worry of because I'm an empath, so I carry a lot of people's problems and their whatever they have carried on them, it gets on me. So I have to take my bath every day to let that stuff go down the drain, and I'm able to start all over again the next day.
I've been studying this in the since May. I've been studying A Course in Miracles, and the Course in Miracles is a powerful self study and practicing being present to the now and understanding peace and joy and knowledge as my thorough connection to God. And once I am able to accept that for myself, I'm able to extend that out from myself and create that in my immediate surroundings. And hours, I take 2 to 3 minutes and just stop and breathe. I stop and breathe. I remind my body, because the climate that we're in right now is so tense, so toxic. There's so much drama, so much angst and anger that, it can get on me. I'm an empath too, Katrina, so I get it. But it can get on me quite, I don't take my day in day-long chunks. I take my day in bite-sized chunks so that I don't get overwhelmed with it. But it allows me to rejuvenate every hour. So by the end of the day, I'm not swamped and exhausted.
Kind of hearing from both of you is routine and structure and like knowing what you need. And for me, that's definitely my self-care, or at least it should be. And there's times where I fall off of that, and it makes such a big difference. Like you were saying, Katrina, if I can get up at the same time every day and have some time to really wake up and greet the day instead of it like smacking me in the face, it makes such a difference. And if I do the same at bedtime and I give myself that last hour to take a shower and take some time, some downtime, and read books to my son and journal, I'm going to get such better sleep and feel so much better the next day than I would if I just looked at my phone until I go to sleep, or I stayed up an extra half an hour or hour watching TV. And the more consistently you do it, it's like the more your body craves it and it becomes a habit. You're not just practicing self-care at that point. It's like really your lifestyle and your life nourishment. And the more I can control the things that I am in control of, the better I feel. And that's my form of self-care. I enjoy meditating. I love journaling, where I can be alone with my mind and my thoughts and get those down on paper and then have time to reflect on them later. It helps me for myself and for my train of thought, but it also, I see it making a difference in my relationships. Like I'm in a personal development class right now, and when we were given the choice on which thing we were going to focus on, either our spirituality and self-care or relationships, I chose the spirituality and the self-care because I knew that that energy would flow over into the relationships, that the more I was connected to myself and my higher power, the more I'd be able to spill love into those around me and be present when I'm there. I could be more proactive instead of reactive. Question, and this one will be a little juicy.
Uh-oh.
How do you avoid emotional fatigue in relationships?
I do is get comfortable with being my authentic self. It's like who I am in my regular, this is who I am, like for real, for real. Right now, watching here with you two, the one thing that is different is I don't have my glasses on, but everything else is me. To tell the truth, to be transparent. And because I'm loving and patient with me, I'm loving and patient with others. And because I'm loving and patient with others, I don't mind taking a moment, taking a beat, and getting spiritually connected when I am challenged by an overload of emotions from someone I'm engaging with. And the reason why I check in spiritually is because I'm about to tell them, and I don't want to tell them from my natural human self, because I could be harsh, I could be critical, I could be ugly, it could be mean, it could be like, hey, cut it out. I don't want to hear all of that. And that's, that does not encourage people to continue to share. When I just take a moment and breathe and connect spiritually, I'm able to get a download of information on how to convey to the person I'm engaging with at the time in relationships in whatever form, what I'm experiencing in response to what they're saying.
Like, not my circus, not my monkey. So I've allowed people to kind of like, okay, that's your stuff. I might carry some of it, but I've gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, you've been going down this road over and over. So I've learned how to step back and let people kind of deal with their own issues. Personal, like with my husband, I have to sometimes step away. I'm like, he knows I need this time by myself. So if there's a lot going on, a lot of emotions going on, he'll know, okay, he's going to go in one room. I'm going to go in this room. I'm going to have some time alone. I'm going to self-reflect. I'm going to think, contemplate, a lot of deep thinking, and really trying to get to a point like, okay, what can I do better? How can I communicate better? How can I respond better? And this is now like recently. Years ago, not so much. I was shut down. Like I was just shut down in a season of communication and trying to get to some results. So
Yeah.
I'll step away till I'm able to discuss and talk about it with him from a personal level. With my kids, that's a little different. They're grown now, so we kind of let them like live their own lives, even though we may not agree with some of the things that they're doing. But once again, I'm like, this is your life. You have to live it. You have to go through it, and whatever consequences happen, you have to deal with it. I want to carry their weight for them and help them avoid certain things, but them going through that process, it's all a part of maturity and them growing up. So just letting them deal with it.
You brought up the fact that years ago was different than now, because in myself, that's definitely true. For me, when I'm upset, I need to talk about it like right now. I need to get it out. I need to know what your problem is. And I've learned that my husband is not that way. He needs space. He needs time. And I've learned that it benefits me too, to give myself that time, that space to think. But that was a skill that I had to learn. And I had to be compassionate to his needs to get there. I think, like Zina was saying, the most important thing in a relationship is kind of saying those things that nobody wants to say, but with some compassion and with some heart and some love behind it. I heard recently, what you tolerate, you encourage.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you let that behavior or that treatment continue without addressing it, the more you're accepting it. You're not challenging it in some way. You're not letting the person know, I need this instead of that. That doesn't work for me. That's not my communication style. So the more you can be transparent and upfront, even though it can be scary sometimes, the better your relationships and your communication is going to be. Definitely about self-compassion. The more I learn about myself and the more I learn to give myself breaks and time, the more I learn to do that for others. Because I'm a perfectionist and I've always pushed myself to a standard, and I've had to learn I need a break, and sometimes I need grace to like step back and like not everything's going to be perfect. There's not really any perfect that exists, and I've accepted that. So the more that I step back and allow myself to be imperfect, to be perfectly imperfect, the more I can allow other people's flaws to be beautiful, and I can love them for that. And I have to love them where they're at, not love them where I want them to be.
It's also, Rose, it's also about respect,
Yeah.
Respect. Like I value me, and I see myself as worthy. And because that's how I see myself, when I'm treated with less than that, or when someone dumps on me, or when someone wants to just, explode on me, all of what they're experiencing, I have the ability to set some boundaries around myself. Respectfully, with a smile, say, you know what? We are both in a not in a good space. Let's come back to this conversation in a moment. I need a moment to just calm down. You may not need one, but I need one. May I please have one? And so before you can even begin to address emotional fatigue, it's important to understand what it looks like for you.
It's important to know that physical fatigue, where it's stemming from, because you can do all the self-care that you want, the spa day and the bath time and the journaling. But if you're not letting people know what your limits are, and you're letting that emotional fatigue build up, none of it's going to make you feel good. I'm a very holistic person, and I know that all of it's connected and it all has to go together. So if one thing is out of place, everything is going to be out of place.
Even like diagnosed myself as a functioning depressant, because I was depressed, but I couldn't just lay in the bed like I wanted to, because I had 3 kids depending on me. So I had to get up and get things done. And I wasn't even aware, because I had a different mindset then as I do now. But I didn't know about self-care. I just focused on their care. And my care was like, I was at the back of the line. Like, I don't know I was even in line. I did not take care of myself at all. It was about everybody else. My whole mantra was miss everything for everybody. Grown and gone. And I remember when my kids graduated from high school, I sent like a text to most of my family. I'm like, in this season, I'm focusing on me. Don't call me to book a flight. Don't call me to book a hotel. Like I was like a personal assistant, a concierge. I was everything. And I was like, don't call me for anything. I'm focusing on me and my husband. And that's it. Like the kids are in college now. Nothing. I'm done. And now I even have a different mindset where I definitely take time for myself and I do what I need to do to make sure that I don't ever go back to that functioning depressant. I don't ever want that again.
Yeah.
And your kids probably benefited from that, you pushing them to be adults and independence. So you not only let them know your limit and what you're willing to accept right now, but you push them to be bigger and greater themselves.
I just want to say, take time for you. If you need to step away and put yourself in the front of the line. You're important and make time. Just make the time. You need it in order to be able to keep going in this world and do what you have to do so you will not have the emotional fatigue. And self-care is not selfish.
Make sure you have a support system in place before you need a support system, because when you need a support system, you will not put it in place. And in whatever group, organization, tribe of people you're in the midst of, in that circle, there needs to be 1 to 2 people that you already know you can trust. So in time of crisis, you can just fall back. You don't have to try to think, which way do I go? Where do I find help? But those same people can see you having emotional fatigue or not taking care of self, and they'll let you know.
Like you said, putting yourself first, and it's easier to fill and to love others from a full cup or an overflowing cup than it is an empty one. The more you put yourself at the back of the line, the harder it's going to be to love on others, and to practice self-compassion. Allow yourself to be imperfect and give yourself grace so that you can better love others where they are at.